Ex-prison officer 33-year-old Lenny Scott was targeted and then shot and killed outside a gym in Skelmersdale on February 8, 2024. Lenny Scott was a father, but he was also a partner and a working man. Now, his aim was said to be the result of the fact that Lenny Scott had worked as a prison officer in H&P Old Course and had performed his duties of his job, which rubbed criminals the wrong way. Now, Lenny Scott was not perfect by all means because he was dismissed from his job in 2021. However, on March 26th of 2020, Lenny Scott performed a search on Elias Morgan's cell. There he found a mobile phone, Preston court was told. The phone was handed into authorities and an investigation began. Now, Elias Morgan had warned Lenny Scott to drop the investigation. However, Lenny Scott did not. Police found that the Liverpool gangster Elias Morgan, who is from the Huyton area of Liverpool, had been engaged in an intimate relationship with a woman prison officer by the name of Sarah Williams, who was said to be besotted with the offender. Sarah was notorious for having relationships with criminals and also feeding them information. According to the investigation, Elias Morgan had dressed up in an orange high-vis jacket and then scouted locations with his mate to find out where Lenny Scott's home was, as well as the gyms that he had attended. Now, on the day of the Elias had lain wait outside the gym on Peel Road. He then stayed out of sight on the far end of the car park, waiting for more than 57 minutes, after being given Lenny Scott's location. Now, when Lenny Scott was caught on CCTV leaving the gym and crossing the car park at roughly 37 minutes past 7 in the evening, the 33-year-old ex-prison officer had then crossed the car park and stood next to his car talking to a friend. Now, Elias Morgan was said to have been the trig man. He wanted to make sure that he was the person that aimed his pistol and then pressed the trigger. He walked up to Lenny Scott, despite Lenny Scott talking to a friend, stood almost point-blank range, took aim, steadied himself. Lenny Scott's final words before being executed was, "Who's the guy in the mask?" Then Lenny Scott was shot 6 times. 6 times, face and body. This was a deliberate attempt to kill, and Elias Morgan had succeeded. After, of course, Elias Morgan had left the scene on an electric bike. Then he drove a short distance to a white van, where they fled the scene with the help of his friend. Lenny Scott was caged for doing his job and messing with a man whom obviously had the means to arm himself with a gun and had nothing to lose. And currently, Elias Morgan is on trial for murder. Condolences. Stay safe.